Hello everybody, today we're going to play MECCG using the solo rules that I mentioned earlier, which involve changes to the characters, which also involve changes to how the game is set up. Here I've got my environment deck, it's the purple one. I've also got a deck of agents, and also you will be rolling dice when you go to different places because you know, they have changed the way automatic attacks happen to make the game a little more flavorful. So I've also added my own take on it because I will be using this as a backdrop to try and reimagine the Marsh Bell Scenario. I've drawn my starting hand. I've got a friend of three, Shield of Ironbound Ash, and Forth He Hastened, Gandalf, and Dagger of Westerness. For the purpose of this game, we're going to start in Lorien over here. But for the sake of this game, Lake Town will be a haven and cannot be tapped. It acts like it always does, but it is a haven unto itself. The reason being, this is where we will be doing our investigation. So the story is that, and this is something we have been told in Lorien, that Glowin has a problem. Ori and Balin have gone missing. They travelled down from they were supposed to set out from the Lonely Mountain, or so we are told, to travel to Beorn's house. And they've gone missing. Somewhere between the Lonely Mountain up here and Beorn's house, they have gone missing. And their plan was to go south, south, round southern Mirkwood through the Brownlands. They were not going to pass through Mirkwood and then go past Roscorbell up to Beorn's house. They have not been seen in Roscorbell. We know this already. So we now will travel to to Lake Town to find out more about it, to meet with Glowin, and then we will start playing and exploring these areas. We will go to the Lonely Mountain, we will go to Dale, Iron Hill, Dwarfhold, because we also need to recruit some factions. I'm not sure how I'm going to handle the question of, do I need marshalling points to win the game? I have no idea how this will play anyways. My starting group is Faramir, Peath, and Ioreth. Peath has a Dagger of Westerness, so her prowess is 5 and her body is 8. Faramir's body is 5, and his prowess is 5, his body is 8, and we've got Ioreth, whose prowess is 0 and her body is 7, and she has the possibility of healing everyone. Faramir is a ranger, and his will is 5, which means he has a special ability and he can untap any ranger in the company once per turn. So he in theory could untap both Peath or himself. Peath herself wasn't given a special ability by the designers of this variant. Oh no, she does. She counts as a sage to use rituals or light enchantments. Okay. Sorry, my mistake. She has been given a special role, so she could. I don't know if I've got any light enchantments in the deck, because I didn't realize. That's fine. So okay. My starting hand is actually Gandalf, a friend or 3, Shield of Ironbound Ash, and Forth He Hastened, and a Dagger of Westerness. So we're going to play a friend or 3 immediately, so that we all get +1, and then we're going to move to Lake Town. And that is 6 hazard cards, and we draw 2 cards. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Despair of the Heart, playable on a non-hobbit, non-wizard, non-ring wraith character. Okay, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And it goes to Peace. Corpse Candle. Yeah, can be keyed to this location. 1 strike. If this attack is not cancelled, every character in the company makes a corruption check before defending characters are selected. Okay. Let's see, we drew Elf Song and Bard the Bowman. Okay. So we're going to deal with this. Everybody needs to make a corruption check. So we start with Faramir, he has nothing. Ioreth has a 1, so she will automatically pass. And Peace has 3, and she passes with a 7. Okay, so now we're going to attack the Corpse Candle. Faramir is going to tap. And he rolls a 5, which is enough. So the Corpse Candle goes away and goes into our marshalling point pile. So that was 1, 2. We have 1 more that we need to do, and it's Lesser Spiders, 4 strikes. So the way I play the game is that I actually decide who gets to take the strikes. I'm not just going to assign them as per the rules that everybody has to take strikes, because to me that is completely antithematic. First of all, because you would always have somebody sacrificing themselves, and also it is very, very untactical. So first of all, Faramir is going to take his ability to untap a scout, and then he's going to tap again to take the first strike, and he passes, so that's 1 strike passed. Then he's going to, then Peace is going to take 1. She's going to tap as well for this, so she passes. And then we have 2 more strikes to take, and we are going to let me see if you're tapped. I think if you're tapped, you take where's the combat? Ah, yeah, here we are. Okay, -1. And nicely done. He does it, but we don't get it because he just matches it. And she does. So these go back in the discard pile because he only matched it. And the other ones go away because you only get to draw 3 hazards and play them. You get to play 3 hazards because there are 3 characters. So now we are in Lake Town. And so first of all, what we're going to do is we're going to bring into play. So first of all, we have the 2, 4, 6. The it's a haven. So we play Elf Song and we remove this corruption card immediately. Then we're going to do the untap phase. And then we're going to bring into play Bard the Bowman, which means a friend of 3 goes away. And then we're going to draw up to 5 cards. I actually play it this way, so because this whole thing that you only do certain things in the organization phase, I always found that very counterintuitive. You are at the location, you do what you need to do, then your turn ends, you draw up to 5 cards. So basically now we've still got Gandalf. Bringing somebody into play, by the way, does not mean you have to do anything. So now what we're going to do is we're going to bring in the Shield of Ironbound Ash and tap Lake Town, which still means you can bring in factions, because obviously with only 5 and you know, this whole thing about, you know, tapping things and then not being able to use them anymore, I found that always quite stupid actually. So because we're trying to tell a story here, we're not trying to so we're going to give this to Faramir. Bard the Bowman has a special, no, he doesn't have a special ability. So we might actually give the shield to him then, because he's a little bit of a wimp. Okay, so now we're going to move. And we're going to start our investigation. We're going to go to Lake Town. Sorry, we should have done something else. We should have rolled the dice, shouldn't we? So, okay, we rolled the dice. And we rolled a 6. And Lake Town is a... What is Lake Town actually? Is it a freehold? I've no idea. And it doesn't say. We will just say that it is. Do I have a list? No, it's actually a border hold, and on a border hold, on a roll of 6, you get an agent encounter. Draw an agent from the agent deck. It's going to be fun. This one is only playable somewhere else. Nimloth as well. So you basically go through the deck until you find somebody that you can actually play. No. Minas Tirith? No. Nope. 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 No. No. Yes. So we've got one, and his name is Gisulf, and he's a warrior. And if you draw an agent who is a warrior, you do the following. You attack a character of choice. So we can't attack Bard because he wouldn't have been with us yet. So we're going to attack Faramir. He was tapped. So he's going to attack for 5. He's tapped. And he beats him fair and square. Okay, so Okay, so we're now going to move to the Lonely Mountain. We draw 2 cards, and we draw 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. And we can take 4 cards. Walks. Indeed. 2 strikes. So Faramir is going to take the first one, and he easily defeats this one. And he's going to tap himself and take the second one as well. And we succeed, and they go into our marshalling points pile. Next up is another walk attack. Faramir again for 10. That was a hit. So that was successful, and then he goes again, and he defeats them as well. So that's number 3. Number 4 is a corpse candle, 1 strike. We need to all make a corruption check, so Faramir doesn't have to do anything. Pete has to, so nobody can miss. Okay, so let's give Pete is going to, Bard is going to tap himself and his shield, and he is going to fight against the corpse candle, and he's successful. So the corpse candle goes into our marshalling points pile. We have 1 more card, and that is a land drake, which is playable. It's got 1 strike, and the attacker chooses the defending character. Well, we're going to tap Peeth, and she has 5. And she rolls a 6, which is enough. The land drake goes away, and the other 2 cards go away as well. But they go into the discard pile. Then we're going to play and 4th he hastened, because we need to untap someone, because now we are entering the Lonely Mountain. Worst case scenario, we might meet a dragon there. So the Lonely Mountain is a ruins and lairs. So we roll 2 dice, and we roll a 6. And in ruins and lairs, a 6 is attacked. Draw a creature from hazard deck that can be keyed to this site. Okay. That's not one we can play. That's not one we can play. It's not one we can play. Not one we can play. Key to the site or to the path? Because I don't know if I've got anything that can be keyed to this kind of site. Ah, this one can. Stirring Bones, undead, 2 strikes. Okay, so Faramir is going to take this strike. It's 9, and he passes, and then he's going to tap. Sorry, he tapped anyways, and then he's going to do this again. And he does, but it goes, we don't get it because he only matched it. Okay, so now we're here. Now, unfortunately, we don't have any relevant things because we don't have information that we could play. So we're just going to play a Dagger of Westerness, and we're going to give it to Faramir, and then we're going to untap. And we're going to draw up to 5 cards. Wood Elves. Okay. So now we're going to travel to Thranduil's halls. Okay, so basically we came from a haven. So we're going to play Healing of Nimrodel, because we're going to move back to Lake Town. We're going to draw 2 cards, and we're going to draw 6 hazard cards. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. What I'm looking for is the rescue of prisoners, because without this we can't really play. So we're going to start Huon. Yes, that is playable. Awakened plant, 1 strike. Yes, indeed. We are going to face this strike by tapping Faramir. He's got a prowess of 6. And he easily makes it. Huon goes into our marshalling points pile. So that was number 1. Number 2 is wolves. 3 strikes. We're going to face the first one with Faramir for 5. Yes, he matches it. Peath goes next. She taps for 5. Yes, and Bard taps for 4 in total. So yeah, no problems there, but we only matched their first attack, so they just go into the discard pile. So now we have 1 more that we draw, and it's Lure of Nature. Playable on a non-hobbit, blah, blah, blah. We're going to roll 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. So we have only 4. 1. It goes to Faramir. Okay, Elfin Song goes away. We are now in at a haven. We roll and nothing happens. So now we're in the haven and we have a Nimrodel working, so we all go here. We make a corruption check for and he passes easily, and then we will try to get rid of this. And it goes away. And now that we are here, what we are going to do is we are going to bring into play Gandalf. So, he's got 10 influence, so he's going to so now we have 18 free influence. Okay, so we have 5 cards, so now we move on. We are going to try and influence our friends from Lake Town. Like I said, I mean, this whole thing about tapping and then not being able to do stuff, I don't care. 4. So he's going to use this. 5. 7. Well, that didn't work, so these guys go away. We were unable to muster them. So now we're going to move to Thranduil's halls. We draw 2 cards. Let's hope that I get those rescue prisoners. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Lost in the Wilderness. Playable on a company that is moving this turn. You may play one additional hazard on target companies for each wilderness. There's one, so we can play 6. So this is number 1. Number 2 are lesser spiders, 4 strikes. Gandalf is going to take the first one easily, and he's going to take the second one as well. Very well done. And the third, yup. And the fourth, yup, indeed, but only matched it. Call it home. Goes to Faramir. The Light Drake. 2 strikes. Faramir is going to take the first one. Yes, done. And he's going to untap and take the second one as well. And that's a hit. It goes into our marshalling point pile. Lure of Nature. 1, 2, 3. It goes to Peace. And last one. Slayer. Slayer has 2 attacks of 1 strike each, all against the same character. So, Keith goes first for 5. So she needs 6, and she rolls 7, which is enough. And then she does the same thing again for 4, and she doesn't hit, so now we need to make a body check. And we pass. So the Slayer, but she is hurt. And the healing of Nimrodel goes away. So now we need to make a check. Oh God. So basically Faramir goes back into our hand because the Call of Home succeeded. Lure of Nature. Peath is fine, and Peath gets rid of it too. But she's still hurt. So Ioreth is going to she's going to discard the healing herbs, and she's going to untap everyone with it and heal everyone. So now we are in Thranduil's halls. We're going to play Horns, 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 and we're going to take the Men of Laketown, sorry, the Men of Dale, Men of Laketown back and put them into our deck. Because we will try again. And we're going to try and bring the Wood Elves under our control, as it were. And we do. So they follow us around now, and now they have a special ability because factions actually do stuff. All factions can now be tapped to cancel an attack key to their region home site with MPs less than their own. So anything beyond anything less than 3. Okay. May tap to allow information playable at their home site once per game. The problem is we still don't have any information. Oh, sorry, we should have also done the roll at the beginning. 4, we're at a haven. And a haven for... No, sorry, we're at a thing. This is a free domains. Oh, doesn't exist. So we will just say it's Borderlands. No, it's a freehold actually, sorry. And we rolled a 4. Marketplace. Discard card from hand to draw cards equal to MP cost of discarded card. Okay. We're actually going to discard Faramir because we cannot do anything with him because we don't have his site where we could bring him into play. We drew another horns, horns, horns and another risky blow. Not too shabby at all. So now... we are going to discard horns, horns, horns. And we are going to move back to Lake Town. And we're going to draw 2 cards. Hopefully we will get the rescue prisoners. Still nothing. Okay. Have to reshuffle the deck. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Abductor. Men. 1 strike. Each non-wizard defending character wounded by the abductor is discarded. So we're going to use Gandalf for this. And he fails. So he has to now do a body check. And we just about pass. That was terrible. Number 1. Number 2, muster disperse. The faction player makes a roll. The faction is discarded if the result is plus his unused general influence is less than 11. My unused influence is... $20. Gandalf costs nothing and we've only got Bard the Bowman, so we have 18, so nothing happens. So it's number 2. 3 wolves, 3 strikes. Keith goes first for 5 and she passes, then again for 4 and she makes it, and then Bard is going to go for 4 as well. And that's fine, so they go back into the discard pile. So it was number 3, and then we have 1 more that we have to take, and that is Pickpocket. And that is playable. 1 strike, man, faction, man. Attacker chooses defending characters. And we're going to use Risky Blow. And we're going to use Peace. So she has 4 plus 3. Is she a warrior actually? No, she's not, but Bard is, isn't he? Yeah, so Bard is going to do it for 6. And he makes it. So this one goes into our marshalling points pile. Good. Okay, so now we are there. And now we need to do the entry, Haven, 6. Elven gift, search, draw deck and put into play a minor item that could play here. A minor item. We're gonna give Pete a shield. Okay, so now everybody untaps. Gandalf is tapped. Let's see, we need to discard down to 5. What are we going? Oh no, we're going to bring into play a friend or 3. So, we needed to shuffle this. So let's see, we're going to move to Ironhill Dwarfhold next. We're going to draw 3 cards because we can. And again, not what we're looking for. And then we're going to draw 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 hazard cards. Sorry, these ones go away. Wargs. Three strikes. Gandalf goes first at 5 and he passes. Next up is Peeth for 6 and she passes, and she does it again for 5 and these ones are gone. 1, 2 spiders, yes. 4 strikes. We're going to dodge with a Bard for number 1 and he passes. So now he's going to take the second strike and this time he's going to tap. And again he passes easily, so that's 2 strikes for these guys. Then Gandalf is going to take them on and he does so. And then lastly he's going to do it, and then Peeth is going to do it again and she does it as well. So they go into our marshalling points pile. So that was 2 cards. 3, Wisp of Sheen. Wisp of Pale Sheen, undead, 1 strike. Attacker chooses defending character. Any character facing a strike whose mind is equal to or lower than the strike's prowess must tap if untapped following the strike. Whoa. And we're going to give this one to Gandalf for 5. Easily done. It's number 3. Number 4. Lost in the Wilderness. Playable on a company that is moving this turn. Yes, we are. That's number 4. So we get to draw 1 more. And we're going to play this. Full of Froth and Rage. It's a permanent event, which we will put into play. So that is number 5 then. Yeah, so everything else goes into the discard pile. So now we are in the halls of Thranduil. What we're going to do is we're going to use and forth he hastened to untap Gandalf. Then we're going to roll 6 on a freehold is rumors. If this company moves next turn, choose to draw extra resource cards or 1 less hazard. We're going to draw 1 less hazard. So now what we're going to do is we're going to try and bring into play the Iron Hills Dwarves. And we're going to use Gandalf, who's got 6 influence, plus 4, so that should be easily done, and he does, and they come and join us. So we tap the site. We don't have anything else we could play, so now in the organization phase, a friend of 3 goes away, and we're going to bring in Gimli. And Gimli is going to go under the influence of, no he's not, he's going to go by himself, and he's going to be under the influence, and he's going to influence Bard the Bowman. Everybody untaps. So now we've got a free influence of 14. And then we're going to draw up to 5 cards. Tempering Friendship. Okay. So now what we're going to do is we're going to move back to Lake Town. We still haven't got what we need. That's problematic. But we're just going to draw 5 cards. And we're going to draw 2 to see if maybe, just maybe we will find something. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Because what I'm looking for is the card Rescue Prisoners. Call of Home. 1, 2, 3, 4. Goes to Bard. He needs to make a call. He needs to... My unused influence is 14, so it goes away immediately, because he cannot roll under 10. 1. 2. Must disperse. The faction's player makes a roll. The faction is discarded if the result plus his unused general influence is less than 11. That's not the case, so this card goes away. 2. 3. Full of Froth and Rage. We already have this. 4. Yes, we did. Slayer. 11. And we're going to we've got Rescue Prisoners. Woohoo! And we're going to give this one to Gandalf. And he easily defeats him for the first one. And then he doesn't. That's bad. 9. We need to make a body check. And he just about makes it. Gandalf, that Slayer is going to be the end of you one day. So now we're here. Eight. Nothing happens. So what we're going to do is we're going to now play the rescue... No, we can't, because we're in the wrong place. Because that's my rule for this game, you can't do this. But what we're going to do is we're going to try Tempering Friendship. Plus 4. And we're going to bring in the Men of Dale. Oh, we're actually not in Dale, we can't. So that's where we're going to go next. We're going to go next to Dale. card, Rescue Prisoners, it cannot be discarded. Once you draw it, you just put it to the side because you can then use it. So we're just going to discard this card because otherwise, you know, you're going to end up in big problems. So we're now in Dale. So we're now going to travel to Dale. And we draw... 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Huon, 10, 1 strike. Gandalf's going to take this. I hope this isn't a mistake. And it isn't. 1, 2, wolves, 3 strikes. Gandalf, fine. Gimli, fine. Heath, absolutely. 2, 3, muster disperse, nothing happens. Yes, abductor, man, 1 strike. Bard is going to take this one for 4, and he passes. Goes into our disc. It goes into our pile. So last one. Stirring Bones, 2 strikes, undead. We're going to give Risky Blow for 7 to Gimli, so that's fine. And then Peath is going to take them on for 5. And that's good. They go away into our discard pile. So now we have first we're going to play the Men of Dale. Using Tempering Friendship. There is no way. We're going to use Gimli, he's at +1. So he's got 5. Yeah. They're now our friends. But now what we're going to do is we're going to play Rescue Prisoners. And how this works is we are looking for traces of, and for this you don't need to tap. We're looking for traces of our friends Ori and Balin. So what we're going to do is we have the Rescue Prisoner card. We have 3 in total. We know that there are 2 prisoners. So the chances are we will be looking and we won't be finding them. So it's 1 in 3. So we rolled a 1. So this card goes away. We didn't find the prisoners here. Next time, actually this doesn't go into the discard pile. Next time we encounter a card, the chance is 2/3. Why is it only 2/3, not 100%? Because we're looking for 2. It means that the guy that we were looking for is dead. So we're going to draw up to 5 cards. And we're going to move back to Lake Town. Draw 4 cards. 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 exactly. Abductor. Gandalf. Yes. Slayer. We're going to use Risky Blow on Gimli. And that worked. And then Gimli is going to tap and is going to try again. And he does, and this time round, no, hold on, just goes back into the discard pile. So it's 2. Lesser Spiders, they are now +2 prowess. So they're now at 9. So Peath Keith goes first, and she manages it. So she goes again, and again she manages it. 2 strikes. Yes, 3 strikes. Snake eyes. Is it 5? 7. It's not enough. She needs to make a body check. And she passes. Okay, so these guys don't go away. So now we've got a drake, a land drake. We're going to give this one to Bart the Bowman. And he passes. We've got this in place already, and this one goes away. Okay, so now we're here, we're going to play Fellowship. Everyone untaps. Keith is still hurt. We're going to give a Dagger of Westerness to Gimli. So we draw, and we're going to discard the Gandalf card because we've already got him. 1, 2, 3, 4. Let's hope that there's more rescue prisoners in here. No. Didn't we already have the Men of Lake Town? Okay. Oh, I forgot that we've got Fellowship in place. Okay. So we're going to San... Oh, sorry, I need to roll. And in a Haven, 4 is Cares Lifted, remove 1 corruption card. So now we're going to move to Boor We Do. We draw 3 cards, 1, 2, 3. Again, no rescue prisoners. And we're going to draw... We don't even have enough in the hazard deck, so essentially we only have 2 more fiends to contend with. And I rule that if this runs out, then we've lost the game. Okay, so spiders, prowess of 9. Gandalf, you can do this. Yes, 1. He's now at 5. Yes. No. And Gimli, yeah. I don't believe this. And the Slayer. Gimli's going to take on the Slayer using... No, actually Bard is going to use this against the Slayer and he doesn't tap. And he fails. Oh god. Body check. He makes it. No, he doesn't, so he's dead. Okay. Now it's going downhill. Okay, and the Slayer again then attacks Peeth. Or she attacks back, so she's got 5. That's just enough, so yeah. Okay, so we're in Boor We Do. We can't really do anything because we don't have the relevant card, the rescue prisoners, and I think I'll call it now because we've also run out of hazard. So, number 1, what do I think of this idea of having factions that have abilities, which I haven't used actually. I think I will say this, you have the factions that now have abilities, but it does make it a lot more, I mean, there's a lot more bookkeeping involved, but that's fine, it's just a matter of getting used to it. I like the fact that you have to, or that you get to roll stuff when you go into havens or into places, and it becomes a lot more flavorful. I really like that. Does it work with my idea of playing a scenario? I don't think it does, and that is simply because you would really have to stack both decks. So for example, this whole thing with the rescue prisoners might work if you were going, if this was Lord of the Rings, the LCG, where you go through certain stages in the game, and the hazard deck or the adventure deck is stacked. As it is, this is not the case here. So I don't think what I was going to do is possible, at least not without changing the way the game is played totally. So I really enjoy this though, and it's still, I really like the game. And yes, I will make the video that people have been asking for, a comparison between this and the LOTR LCG. But I will give this variant a lot more tries, because they have come up with additional player mats and things that they want people to use when they play, and I'm definitely going to do this because since I will never play this opposed, because I simply don't like playing opposed games, it's just not my play style. I still want the game to be viable, and I still want the game to be played, and I think anyone who comes up with interesting solo takes, and I like the idea that you have your... Actually, I should have played long events as well. I completely forgot about this. When is the long event phase? Yeah, I should actually have taken these cards and played long events as well, but I forgot, so yeah. But really, because I was so focused on trying to play my scenario, that I think these mechanics might get in the way, which is nothing wrong with the mechanics. It's just that you then have to think of too many things at once. So I will play this game again, using these rules and probably printing out the other player mats as well. And the only thing that I can say is it's a really great game. And I can only... If you have the cards themselves, I would encourage you to check out this version of the game. It's on YouTube, as I said, and I think it's always good when people try to come up with new ways of playing this game, because there's just so much in it. There is the scenario-based play, as you know, and I tried that, but I have to say that while the scenarios are, a lot of them, really good, I also found it quite difficult to put together the decks, because the guy, you know, he made a good point. He said, well, I'm not going to tell you how to put together your deck, because that will only tell you what cards I have, and if you have different cards, and you might think you can't play it, and that's a good point. But I think it was also quite difficult for me to put together decks that made sense, and the ones that I made were so hard that I kept losing, and I didn't know, or I don't know the game enough to be able to make it work, because I just have so many cards. And I mean, I'm gonna talk about this when I talk about the games in general. The problem is the gameplay in this, or card interaction, is not streamlined in this game, and for very good reason. But there are cards in here where I'm like, I wouldn't even know when to use them, and I've got this the same problem, or the same sense sometimes when I look at the LOTR LCG, but a lot less so than here, because here I sometimes sit and I kind of go, I have no idea what this card is actually supposed to do, or when you would use this, you know. But that's neither here nor there, you know. So that's all from me, and that was the 12th game in my 12 Games of Christmas challenge, and I wish you all a happy new year, or as we say in German, guter Rutsch. Bye!